This is a great article from Business Insider. Putin's Sarmat nuclear missile can't fly without Ukrainian engineers, experts say. Timothy Wright from the IISS explained that Russia lacks the expertise to launch the missile, as Ukraine's design bureaus developed them during the Soviet era. Russia also struggles with liquid fuel engines. Collaboration ended in 2014, and many key Ukrainian missile specialists remained in Ukraine. Russia's intercontinental ballistic missile program is in trouble, facing persistent struggles with its new Sarmat missile. And it doesn't help that the country has cut off expertise it once depended on by waging war on its neighbor. Historically, a lot of the ICBM manufacturing plants and personnel were based in Ukraine. Timothy Wright, a missile expert at the International Institute for Strategic Studies, told Business Insider. Ukraine became independent when the Soviet Union collapsed in 1991, but its defense industry continued to be intertwined with Russia's. Ukraine has expertise in nuclear and missile technology, as well as manufacturing knowledge. Russia had been decreasing its reliance but hadn't yet severed critical ties when it attacked Ukraine in 2014, leaving it with gaps that could affect development projects. Since the dissolution of the Soviet Union, Russia has developed capable solid-fueled ICBMs, but with Sarmat, it decided to use a liquid-fueled system. The problem with that is that the Russians haven't done this in about 30-plus years, Wright said. They haven't got any recent experience doing this sort of stuff with land-based ICBMs. Fabian Hoffman, a missile expert at the Oslo nuclear project, told BI that it was a bit of a question of, have they retained the expertise? Because all the people who built their previous missile have retired or are dead. Some of them are in Ukraine, which had a big part in the Russian ICBM program, he said. So that's a major issue. Wright described Russia's choice to use liquid fuel technology as a really weird choice that they made, because it was something the Ukrainians previously did for them. He said that was one of the reasons why they're having lots of problems. The Sarmat is designed to replace the Soviet-era R-36, which NATO calls the SS-18 Satan. Its earliest version first entered service in the 1970s and has been modified since. The company that designed and maintained it, Putin'S, known as Yuzhmash in Russia, was in what is now modern-day Ukraine. Russia appeared to target the Putin'S plant in an attack with a new missile type in November. Russia wanted to develop more of this kind of expertise and capability itself. After the dissolution of the Soviet Union, Russia found itself in a position where essentially it was having to rely on external countries to maintain its existing forces and also then contribute to the development of other ones, Wright said. But doing so was a challenge that took time. So they continued working with Ukrainians up until 2014, he said. In March 2014, Russia annexed Ukraine's Crimea region, claiming it as part of Russia despite international outcry, and ignited conflict in Ukraine's east that continued until Russia launched its full-scale invasion of Ukraine in February 2022. In response to Russia's actions in Crimea, the Ukrainians pretty much terminated all contracts around the maintenance of ICBMs at that point. So that's where the big cutoff happens, Wright said. The collapse in cooperation between Ukraine and Russia accelerated Russia's efforts to replace the R-36, so it wouldn't rely on Ukraine as much. Maxim Starchak, an expert on Russian nuclear policy and weaponry, wrote in a 2023 analysis. All cooperation with Ukrainian contractors ceased, and the responsibility for maintaining the R-36 went to Russia's Makayev Rocket Design Bureau, Starchak said, adding, but this was a stopgap solution. Launches ceased, with missiles and warheads simply undergoing annual checks. Ukraine banned military cooperation with Russia and stopped supplying Russia with any military components in June 2014. That left Russia without much of the expertise it wanted for Sarmat. Russia's RS-28 Sarmat ICBM seemed to have suffered a catastrophic failure during a September test, appearing to have blown up. Satellite pictures showed a massive crater around the launch pad at the Plesetsk Cosmodrome, a spaceport in northwestern Russia. That apparent failure followed what missile experts said were multiple other problems. the powerful missile's ejection tests and its flight testing have both been repeatedly delayed. And it previously had at least 2 canceled flight tests and at least 1 other flight test failure, according to the Royal United Services Institute think tank in London. Russia has poured a lot of money and propaganda into the Sarmat missiles. President Vladimir Putin in 2018 bragged that missile defense systems are useless against them, absolutely pointless, and that no other country has developed anything like this. But it doesn't work right. With the setbacks facing the Sarmat and no other replacement, the R-36 keeps having its life extended. Wright said the missile was already really past its service life, and sooner or later, things are going to fall apart. Let's see something else from Ukraine. FPV drones of the 3rd Separate Assault Brigade destroy a Russian Buk M3 air defense system. The Buk M3 is Russia's latest mobile, medium-range air defense system designed to counter aircraft, cruise missiles, and precision-guided munitions. It is a modernized version of the Soviet-era Buk system. Sweden has announced its largest military aid package for Ukraine to date, valued at approximately $1.3 billion. This package aims to strengthen Ukraine's long-range strike capabilities, including a $96 million investment to support the production of long-range missiles and drones. Additionally, Sweden is doubling its previous donation of combat boat 90s from 16 to 32 and providing 146 trucks, 1,500 TOW anti-tank missiles, 200 anti-tank weapons, 23 marine weapon stations, and 1 million rounds of 12.7mm ammunition. Russian nutcases are always funny. In Russia, a bill has been drafted to ban global Satanism, says State Duma Deputy Burlyaev. The goal? Fighting the so-called world Satanism that Putin rants about.
Global Satanism. Therefore, we accept from you, Ino Kiprian, and from you, Vladika, your directive. And we have already started preparing. And I hope that our committee will soon, literally in a week, in 10 days, present to the entire State Duma a project against Satanism. Thank you.
Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. Also, if you want to support Warthog Defense, please become our member and get early access to new videos, exclusive members-only videos, and become administrator in comment section. The membership link is in the description.
Every day. We had a guy last week, it's 6 rescues in 6 days. You know, he's doing the job every day.